guys, Ian here. On this video for this week, I'm going to talk about boot choices. What kind of boots? These are the main hunting boots that I have that I'll use throughout the year, and kind of just give you a little breakdown of when I would use like a muck or like a rubber boot versus a more hiking style boot, and then just some combinations when you add in gaiters into the mix, and just how I'm kind of thinking about why I'm using a hiking boot just by itself, or a hiking boot paired with a gaiter, or just going through, just bypassing all that and going straight to a rubber boot. So first off, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what these are. You see on the table here. Start over here. The rubber boots that I have are from Field & Stream. It's the Field & Stream 1,000 gram insulated rubber boot. These are really good. They're waterproof virtually, pretty much, unless you get up to water where it's above the actual boot line itself. But for the most part, this is if I'm gonna have to go into a swamp somewhere, or have to cross a stream, thing like that. These things are pretty much my tanks for that. Or if I'm having to have to walk through a lot of heavier water that's for a longer period of time, like maybe it's ankle, or maybe just above the ankle deep. I know, right out back behind my parents' house here, I'll go out back behind there, and it's kind of a swampy kind of place. Some parts, especially when it rains a lot, or towards later mid to late fall, early spring kind of ish, it just floods a lot, so there's a lot of standing water around. I'll wear these to walk out into a tree stand. I'm not going to wear these to go hike up and down mountains, and that's where the other difference comes in. But these are really kind of to shine. The hiking boots that I wear are Merrell's. The actual name of the boot kind of blanks me, but they were about $140. These are about $100 from Field & Stream, buying both from Field & Stream. So you pretty much find these. It's a leather boot, it's a hiking boot. Definitely comes up and covers up my ankles, which is really good. These are insulated and waterproof / water resistant, from what I've kind of found. These, I've used them turkey hunting a little bit, spring scouting, stuff like that, and I've actually had to buy these boots because the other boots I had were probably from Field & Stream, a little taller, and they got wet. I was trying to dry them off by a campfire, and I melted the sole of the boot and lost all traction, and just going up down mountains, well, not really mountains, but really big hills and stuff like that in the snow, I just kept slipping, sliding, blah. So these are Merrell's. I love them so far. Very interested to see how they perform in the fall. So far in turkey season, some other times I've worn them where the ground's actually wet, but it's more so from dew or just rain, and it's more so just it's not like a snow wet, it's just like a rain wet. The water precipitation. I've worn these a lot, and my feet have stayed warm and they stayed dry. They're insulated as well, not nearly as much as the Field & Stream muck boots. From now on, I'm going to call these muck boots, just for the type and style of boot that they are. And muck boots are typically ones you see like this. They're not quite as heavily insulated as that, but that's okay. Just because these are more so when I'm really active and moving, that's when I typically want to go towards these. And then the gaiters I have are from REI. These basically just extend up about pretty much to my shins, kind of cover up my shins. And I'll wear these with the Merrell's, and it pretty much adds just another extra layer of protection from the elements from about here up. So now I'm going to kind of go into, and I've kind of touched on it a little bit, on what situations I would wear each boot and which ones I would use the combination of gaiters and these, or just these by themselves. So I'm going to start really easy. I kind of talked about it a little bit with the muck boots. The typical go-to that I have with these, or again, if I have standing water, kind of like a swampy kind of place where I'm going to actually be submerged in water, my feet are going to be submerged above my ankle for a long period of time, these are the boots, and I'm not really having to go a whole lot, like a long ways, I'll use these. Or if I have within my path, I know that I'm typically going to cross under like a creek or a stream or something like that, where the water at times, and we're moved through most of the places that I have access to be able to cross, is going to be above my ankle line for a longer period of time. That's when I'll use these. And these are not good to hike in. A little rough on my feet. They're heavy. So when you have a short amount of distance, but you have a lot of water that you have to travel through and actually submerge your feet, that's when I typically stick to the muck boots. Definitely these are an added help more so in the colder temps as well, because there's more insulation, so your feet will stay warmer. Plus, and that's really when I would kind of use these. When I would switch over and I'd stick to more of like just the Merrell boot by themselves, is more like that early fall, maybe the spring, where it's more of like where it's been more dry. Maybe it's just like dew, but that's pretty much it. I'll stick to these type of boots, just the hiking boots. If it is happen to be a little wet, but I'm not going to have to cross any streams, or I know if I do have to cross any stream, I know there's going to be plenty of places for me to be able to cross. It's not going to have me submerged in water above the boot line. I'll stick with these, and also I'll stick with this lighter boot when I'm going up and down hills, or I have to walk a lot, just from like a comfort standpoint within my feet. And that adds into, with these not having as much insulation, I think it's only 400 grams of insulation in these boots versus the 1,000 in here. These I'll wear when I'm sitting up in a tree stand or a ladder stand, when it's more like a colder kind of temps, because I have added insulation, so my feet will actually stay warmer. Versus a hiking boot I'll use when I'm more active, because my feet will actually stay warm, but they won't overheat. Because one of the things that you all know about wilderness survival, in just in case you didn't know, you want to try and manage your sweat, especially when the temps are really cold. If you're hiking around and you're constantly moving, you'll be okay. But if you have to move a while and then you're stopping for the night or anything like that, or you stop for longer periods of time, like to just sit for like a couple hours or stuff like that, the danger of like hypothermia, frostbite, that kind of stuff, or just damage to your feet, or that unpleasantness to your feet, will come from sweat. Now, when I would add the gaiters with these, is if I'm going through some particularly really thick brush, or it's that longer grass, a lot of dew, and I'm trying to protect the bottom of my pant legs, so that way they don't get soaked, and therefore it has direct contact to my socks, therefore my socks get soaked, and the moisture just travels downstream down to my feet. Or if I'm traveling in not heavy snow, but just enough snow where it's going to go over my boot line just enough, or have that danger of actually getting and soaking the bottom of my pant legs, I would wear gaiters along to that. So in essence, when you attach them, it's about the same height coverage on your leg as the muck boots, but it's overall a lighter system. The one thing I didn't bring out here, that I'll also do in conjunction with the gaiters in these boots, and this is something you could probably do with either of these boots if you choose to, is get ice tracks. So there's actually like a rubber kind of system with like some usually steel, like either coils or spikes that will put on the bottom of your boot, especially when you're traveling up steep terrain in snow, or any kind of like fairly steep gradient of terrain in snow or ice. It'll actually give you a little more traction and stability, so that way you're not slipping and falling flat on your face, which Corey and I have done quite a bit this opening day of deer season, actually this past year, and I didn't have those. So those definitely are also a nice little added bonus that you can also find at either a Field and Stream, a Dick's, or REI, or any kind of outdoor brand kind of company, more from like a hiking standpoint. There's different grades and different types of them. I have gotten like typically like the hiking ones, which is the coils, and those have worked out fine so far after one season of use. I don't have to wear them often. But when I do, it's usually when I'm going up the hills along the side of a lake, or anything kind of like of that. Because usually if I'm doing more of like flatter terrain, I don't really need them. So yeah, so that's pretty much my advice on boot selection. That's what I personally use. This is what I personally use, and those are the thoughts and systems that I use, making decisions as to what to run on my feet given the particular hunt that I'm going on. So if you haven't yet, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, woohoo! So like, share, subscribe. Find us on Instagram at 585 outdoors. Check the link below if you'd like to get a T-shirt, sweatshirt, wear your 585 Pride. It's in the link in the description of this video below. So with that, I'm Ian. Thank you for watching.